There are journeys you dream about and journeys you actually make. After living together for 2 years, we took the plunge. We set off together to pedal from Istanbul to Bangkok, thousands of kilometers, and we took our time. A year, a whole year in which to discover Asia with our own eyes.
We left family and friends behind, quit our jobs and swapped 21st century comfort for a leather bike seat, the nomad life for us. Not out of a desire to be alone, but in order to meet others. Our encounters would be the driving force of our bike trip.
In our bags, we loaded a third passenger, a camera, an eyewitness to our adventure. "10 days on the road, and so far, all is well." I'm Mark. I'd already done a year-long trip on my own, the best year of my life, and this time I was going to do it with Claire.
Which suited me just fine. Ever since I was little, I dreamt of travelling around the world.
But let's start at the beginning.
The beginning was in Istanbul, one lovely April morning.
Allez.
It's D-Day, D for departure. After 6 months going over our itinerary, we set off for a year. That's what travel means to us, dreaming about it on a map, then going to see what it's like for real.
So that we'd be free to stop where we liked, we took a tent, a gas stove, everything we needed to survive on €8 a day. Everything, that is, but guidebooks. They're too heavy. And anyway, we wanted to discover things for ourselves through our encounters.
Et voilà, 11h10, levé 6h30, départ 11h10, tout va bien.
There was another thing slowing us down. As we decided to film the trip from time to time, we had to stop, set the camera up on a tripod, get it rolling, go back to our bikes, cycle past the lens, stop again, and pack the camera up. After 10 days, we were getting pretty good at this.
Breaking my legs in was proving tougher than I'd imagined. We were climbing the whole time, and I started to wonder whether I could keep this up for a whole year.
After 2 weeks, we reached the vast Anatolian plateau. Good news, the going got easier and we managed to do 80 kilometers a day. We could have done even more, but the monotonous landscape and unpredictable weather cooled our enthusiasm. To keep our spirits up, we'd make frequent stops in villages. Our astronaut costumes were great for breaking the ice.
27, 27.
Oh, Türkçeyi biliyorlar.
Ouais, bien sûr qu'on parle turc.
We speak Turkish was going a bit far. We'd learnt a few basic phrases.
Donc nous voilà dans une chai salonu, qui nous a aussi servi d'hôtel en l'occurrence, et nous dégustons notre chai matinale.
Pislik güzel çıkmış mesela, kara çıksa.
From 8 in the morning, the tea house is never empty. You get an impression of warmth and conviviality. On the other hand, spending a few hours here is a way of filling up a life made empty by poverty and unemployment.
It's a world of men. What's more, they only speak to Mark, and I'm made to feel uncomfortable. I thought Turkey was more modern. But away from major cities, women are so discreet you hardly see them.
If we keep straight on for Iran, we could miss some of the wonders of Turkey, so we decide to make a detour to Cappadocia.
back to eastern Turkey. Our point of view has changed. Oddly enough, we're starting to feel comfortable here. This austere landscape now feels a bit like home.
At the 1,000-kilometre mark, we get caught up by another couple of cyclists, Adrien and Florian. They're en route for Beijing, with hardly any luggage at all. With our 40 kilogram each, we provide them with a good laugh.
Vous pouvez garder, il faut gagner du poids, les gars. On a dit les béquilles, vous pouvez les démonter. Même le bâton, vous pouvez prendre un bâton plus fin.
Obsessed by weight, they'll do anything to shed a little. They even discard their maps bit by bit.
On arrache la carte au fur et à mesure. On n'a pas le sud de la Turquie.
Bonne route!
2 days with the wind head-on, it's too much. We still have 8,000 kilometres to do. We decide to save our energy, even though it means a bit of cheating.
Vous avez en face de vous deux démissionnaires du vélo.
Bon, il fait toujours aussi froid, même plus, mais au moins on avance.
We meet up again with Florian and Adrien in the highlands by Dogu Bayazit, just before Iran. Paris is far behind us. After a month on the road, the journey has become our life.
To get our Iranian visas, we had to make written commitments. Claire would have to cover her head, and we weren't allowed to film. To us, Iran meant a lack of freedom, but we could still try to find out what the Iranians thought of their own country.
Repression was omnipresent in the land of the Ayatollahs. Iranians were hesitant about inviting us home, and some admitted they were afraid of the police. As for the women, the law imposes constraints on them which seemed to us quite absurd.
On the shores of the Caspian, they go for an Islamically correct dip before getting back in their cars in their soaking clothes.
Où est-ce qu'on va se baigner ce soir?
Pas ici, c'est sûr.
Cycling into Tehran is out of the question. It's a megalopolis of 12 million souls, a bustling hive of activity. When I try walking around in short sleeves, I attract the whole gamut of reactions, from sympathy to threats. The sexual discrimination is blatant. We really want to find out what the women think. In a quiet square, we switch the camera on and interview some students.
C'est un péché que les hommes voient les cheveux d'une femme.
Regarde. On voit vos cheveux là.
C'est une exception.
After talking for 10 minutes, the mood changes. An odd character interrupts our conversation.
Il y a un homme qui nous empêche de parler ensemble. Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez?
Il ne faut pas parler à propos hijab en Iran.
This man is in fact a member of the Basij militia. He speaks to Marc.
اگر حجاب بده چرا شما خانمتو با حجاب آوردید تو جامعه؟ ترکه.
If I could speak Farsi, I'd have told him I make my own decisions.
To escape from the militia, the youngsters of Tehran go and take the mountain air to the north of the city. Here, they become more daring. Hands brush together, boys and girls mix freely.
Some very daring ones even go bareheaded and expose their calves, crimes punishable by a beating.
In this more relaxed atmosphere, our camera doesn't seem to frighten these youngsters.
آزادی فقط توی چیز خلاصه میشه راحت باشن. کسی که میاد بیرون نگه فکر چرا مثلا با دختر میگردی میان میگیرن فردا بس پسر میگه بریم تو خونه. خب این همه کارا رو میاره درسته نباشه راحت تو دست یکی بگیره راحت تو خیابون بتونه راه بری فکر چی نباشی ولی ایران اینو اجازه نمیده.
But are these youngsters prepared to do anything to change this?
فقط زمان میخواد. ما فرهنگمون اینجوری بوده بهمون اینجوری گفتن باید باشیم. حالا یواش یواش داره این فرهنگ عوض میشه بازتر میشه. هر چقدر بگذره این فرهنگ عوض میشه. یعنی مطمئنم که ایران بهترین کشور دنیا میشه. اگه این چیزش بهتر میشه. من ناسیونالیست واقعی هستم.
Is she really convinced of what she says, or is she simply being prudent? It's hard for us to judge.
In Isfahan, the ancient capital of Persia, we make our first contact with the religious authorities.
We're intrigued by a sign which says Religious Debates and Information Centre. A cleric beckons us inside. He's the spiritual head of the place, Mullah Mirdamadi. He invites us to discuss the benefits of Iranian-style Islam. The place is well funded. There's a translator and a cameraman films us. These images of foreign visitors will no doubt be used for propaganda purposes. So we repay the compliment and also film the interview.
For 2 hours, the mullah makes an effort to answer our questions, but his metaphors remain somewhat obscure. One example, we ask him why men have to avoid women.
در هر صورت انسان هوای آلوده و فضای میکروبی رو مواظب باش تا از بیماری مسئول بمونی.
In other words, women are the disease and men risk contamination. And the mullah was so soporific that perhaps we missed some of the subtleties.
Ich werde das schon mal übersetzen.
Back to the central square. It's Friday night, picnic time. Such scenes could make you believe that all is well. And yet, shortly after we left Iran, there were student demonstrations, which were violently repressed.
Lacking visas for Turkmenistan, we caught a plane to Uzbekistan, a former Soviet republic where they still speak Russian. After years of communism, Islam is once again the official religion.
Our third month on the road. Summer is here and the Uzbek sun burns our skin.
Voilà notre petit coin de paradis. Et voilà notre hôte Nasrallah qui revient avec de la picole.
It's impossible to refuse Uzbek hospitality and the inevitable vodka. At first, Nasrullah behaves himself. But during the night, totally drunk, he starts yelling and shaking the tent. I have to scream at him to clear off. You trust strangers in order to make contacts, but it can be a risky business.
The road to Bukhara crosses a desert, but even here the Soviet era has left its traces. In order to grow cotton, an immense irrigation channel was built along the road.
Bon, on se prépare une petite baignade.
The Aral Sea is gradually drying out as these huge quantities of water are drained off. But for us, this channel is a godsend. It provides us with a daily bath. The rest of the time we wash in a river, when we're lucky enough to find one.
Ah.
35 degrees in the shade. You can't move between noon and 4 in the afternoon. After 600 kilometers on the road, we finally reach Bukhara, an oasis on the old Silk Road. We adopt the rhythm of the locals in the shade of the blackberry trees. With a few words of Russian and Farsi, you always manage to exchange a few words.
Kem.
That same evening, we were invited to an Uzbek wedding.
The old traditions survived the communist period. The parents of the groom are duty-bound to invite as many guests as possible. Rich or poor, they have to spend without counting the cost, even if it means putting themselves in a debt for life.
They even pay for a cameraman to film the wedding and a professional dancer to get things going.
Surrounded by his friends, the groom makes his entrance. This is why we haven't seen the bride. Tonight is dedicated to the groom. Tomorrow, it will be the turn of his betrothed. In all, the party lasts for 3 days.
Fin prêt, c'est un record absolu à 7h15, prêt à partir. Notez qu'on a un col à 2267 mètres à se taper, donc autant partir tôt.
I was really dreading the ordeal of the mountain. At the bottom, I was sure I'd never make it. But I found that my endurance had improved, and I was less easily discouraged. After a 4-hour climb, we get to Fergana Valley. Next stop, the Kyrgyzstani border.
A former Soviet republic, Kyrgyzstan is a land of scarcely populated mountains, a wild country in which the nomadic traditions still survive. The landscapes are majestic, but food is hard to come by. We have to rely on our provisions. It could have been a real ordeal, stuck with each other's company 24 hours a day. But the opposite was true. Throughout the trip, Claire and I often felt the same things without the need of words.
A week in Kyrgyzstan already. At the bottom of a valley, some horsemen seem to be preparing for battle. We get closer and see that it's a game of ulak. All we know of the rules is that they have to try and throw the goat carcass into the goal.
Я кыргыз. Мать тоже кыргыз, отец тоже.
Minut özel gereken de 10 minut.
After an ascent that took 2 days, we reach Alabel Pass at 3,200 meters. Even in this windswept place, nomads have set up their yurts.
10 minutes later, we're their guests. Our hosts gradually forget the camera and the atmosphere becomes more relaxed.
У вас камера, да?
Да.
А это не фото?
Солнце, на улице.
А, фотографии, да. Ну здесь за камерой тоже солнце есть. Как сказать?
We are served their traditional meal. Bread, cream and a good helping of the famous kumis, fermented mare's milk.
During the summer months, the Kyrgyz break with the sedentary lifestyle imposed on them during the Soviet era and take up their old nomadic traditions. In early July, they swap the comfort of their houses for the simplicity of the yurt and the fresh air of the mountain pastures.
To thank them, we suggest a family photo. Grandad spruces himself up.
After the last mountain pass, we descend 60 kilometers in the dark. Our fingers gripping the brakes, we go for 2 hours without pedaling once.
The next day, in the tent, I'm awoken by violent stomach pains. We head quickly to Bishkek, where I'm hurriedly admitted to hospital.
Claire is out of danger, but needs rest. I go off on a visa hunt. The combination of absent consuls and long queues makes me feel we'll never get out of this country. It takes me a fortnight to obtain the precious visas for China and Pakistan. Claire had given me a big scare. The physical effort combined with the irregular food had exhausted her. For the first time, I considered jacking the whole thing in.
Здрасте.
We enjoy Kyrgyz hospitality for the last time. It's always the same menu, take it or leave it. After a night at the farm, we're given a going-away present of a bottle of cream and some bread. As for Marc, he also gets a splendid kalpak, the national headgear.
Через 1 год здесь будет фотография. Хорошо?
Добро пожаловать.
Спасибо.
Это часов, что ли?
We reach Kyrgyzstan at an altitude of 2,800 meters. The only business here is the scrap metal trade with China. There's also a customs post and millions of fleas, which feed off us all night long.
Et oui, nous voilà passés l'Irkeshtam.
After 5 passport checks and 2 searches, we're delirious with joy. Not so long ago, this border was closed to foreigners. We're among the first to cross. We're in China.
Well, China. In fact, we're only cutting across an out-of-the-way province of this vast country. It's a strategic region under the watchful eye of Beijing.
Our 5th month on the road. We leave the Pamir Mountains and continue through the Xinjiang Desert. The only living creatures we see up here at an altitude of almost 3,000 meters seem to be in need of a drink too. To cap it all, our map of this little-known area is wrong, and our ride to Kashgar is 100 kilometers longer than we expected.
We arrive on a Sunday, market day. For over 2,000 years, Kashgar has been a crossroads for all the peoples of this region. It is home to the Uyghur, a Turkic Mongolian people who, like their Central Asian neighbours, are also Muslims. Invaded in 1949, they reluctantly became Chinese.
With the help of Wahab, a young student, we discover the town's winding alleys and traditional Uyghur culture.
On one of our walks, we notice a building site. We are told that the Chinese authorities have used a landslide as the pretext for razing the heart of the historical quarter.
The original inhabitants were driven out, paid a symbolic compensation, and their traditional homes were torn down. It reminds us of Tibet. The inhabitants are powerless to intervene.
But Lutbek, a history teacher who's already served time in prison, is keen to talk to us.
We realize that the government's plan is to disperse the Uyghur population and sell the land to Chinese businessmen.
All that will remain of the historical centre is the mosque. A short walk away, there are huge displays showing what the future will look like.
A future that's already half here. In the town's new quarters, the steamrollers have already done their work. Not a trace of Uyghur culture remains.
Failing a miracle, 2,000 years of history will be wiped out. We leave Kashgar with a heavy heart.
Our route now takes us southwards. We take the Karakoram Highway, which is a highway in name only. In fact, it's more like the road at the end of the world. It joins China to Pakistan and includes a mountain pass at an altitude of 4,700 meters.
We skirt sheer drops as we wind our way through the Himalayan giants.
We also skirt accidents. After 3/4 of a descent at top speed, my wheel loses some spokes. Luckily, I have spares at hand. We spend 3 weeks on this road, among these weird moonscapes.
The Karakoram takes us towards Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. We've been advised on several occasions to avoid this reputedly volatile country. But the only way to get to know it is to go and see it for ourselves. We share the road with moving objets d'art, worthy heirs to the old caravans.
The Pakistanis themselves warned us that in certain regions, foreigners are not welcome. And yet, at every stop, we were amazed by the people's hospitality.
In Minapin, they even let us decide the price of our hotel room. We decide to stay for a week. Although it's a very conservative village, women here take a school teacher's course sponsored by the Aga Khan Foundation.
The spoon is in the glass. Excellent. The spoon is in the glass. The spoon is in the glass.
Salman, a member of the Aga Khan Foundation, is their mentor.
The ball is under the table. वो तो नहीं है.
In this poor remote Pakistani valley, Salman has made this training course his own personal hobby horse.
This enlightened Muslim tells us his version of Islam.
Jihad is the fight against ignorance. And this time I am fighting, we are fighting, this group is fighting against ignorance.
Defending itself with learning, this region close to Afghanistan has held off the fundamentalism of the Taliban.
There are madrasas in these areas, but they are not extremist madrasas, you know. Yes, I have received my madrasa education, and these people have received, but in a positive way, you know. When you are talking about Islam, so that is the religion of harmony, justice, and brotherhood.
We approach Islamabad, the capital. The climate is hot and sticky, the climb's exhausting, we're both edgy.
Bon, et ben au Pakistan, on en chie des caisses, passez-moi l'expression, on n'en peut plus.
And this is the moment I choose to wind Claire up a bit.
Bon, ça suffit, Marc, tu vois, t'es chiant avec ton truc, sans rien. Déjà, t'es chiant en temps normal. Arrête ou je vais le tapeter.
The camera survives, as does our relationship.
We reach the Punjab plain and its overpopulated towns. In Lahore, our last stop in Pakistan, we spend our nights enjoying Sufi celebrations. We watch open-mouthed as these Muslim mystics celebrate their faith, whirling in trance-like states to the hypnotic music.
In Pakistan, we were told people are either very good or very bad. We liked all those we met.
We enter the world's largest democracy. India is immense, and its roads are reputedly very dangerous. We leave our bikes in Delhi and carry on by train.
Premier jour en Inde.
After 6 months on the road, I've lost 10 kilos. And for a few days now, I haven't been able to keep anything down. This has a knock-on effect on my morale. Claire and I decided to rest for a few days at the Golden Temple in Amritsar.
This is the centre of the Sikh religion. We have found the haven of peace we were looking for. Like the pilgrims who flock here from all over the world, we make use of the dormitories and eat the communal meals.
Every day, the faithful help to clean the temple. We discover here a communal sense of devotion and solidarity. The beneficial break is also our first immersion in Indian spirituality.
A spirituality so strong it can go to your head. In Udaipur, we bump into rather an odd Frenchman. Premdip, formerly Sébastien, bought a one-way ticket for India and isn't planning on going back anytime soon. He's keen to take us to the temple where he was initiated.
Premdip has embraced Hinduism. He performs his ablutions before each visit to his guru. Our new pal is a real mystic. So, of course, the spot where they burn the dead has quite an effect on him.
Mon meilleur ami, un soir, il a tenté l'expérience d'y dormir, quoi, toute une nuit. Et ça, c'est pareil, c'est un truc... je sais que je le ferai aussi, quoi. Fatalement, il y a des esprits qui traînent, quoi. Fatalement. Il m'a jamais dit ce qu'il a ressenti, quoi. C'est un truc qui le concerne, quoi. Mais bon, il a fait quand même un petit stage en hôpital psychiatrique, quand même. Bon, moi j'ai dû me perdre un peu en France et donc je suis déjà dans une... Déjà mon évolution elle passe par le fait de me retrouver. Je veux arriver à la compréhension totale, quoi.
Travel has taught me patience, but I've had my fill of Premdip. I leave Marc to get to know him better and go off for a change of air.
Premdip was in search of a spiritual path. Apparently he's found it. But what of his everyday life as a mere mortal? He takes me home to meet his wife and daughter.
Je sais pas si elle va vraiment s'endormir. Je vais accélérer le mouvement. J'ai d'abord rencontré ses frères à travers la musique traditionnelle. Et puis un soir, quoi, pas comme un autre, je l'ai rencontré sur une soirée. 2 jours après, quoi, le mariage se décidait, quoi, pour de vrai, quoi. Franchement, au début, c'était comme une plaisanterie. Et finalement, ce n'était pas une, quoi.
I too have had my fill. I leave Premdip to his Indian life and go to find Claire. We set off for a train journey around India. Right from the off, we are just 2 travellers among many others, and it feels quite pleasant at first. But we soon start to wonder what we're doing there. We feel like walking money dispensing machines. Hospitality is just a memory.
And I have to cope with Indians with wandering hands. I'm furious, and don't take it lying down.
But despite it all, we're filled with wonder.
But in 2 months of travelling, we're not invited home once. We don't have a single new address in our notebooks.
We miss our bikes. Maybe they'd have let us tackle India our own way. For the first time on our journey, we become simple spectators.
In Delhi, we are reunited with our bikes and fly to Vietnam. What will our welcome be like? Not only is it a former French colony, but not so long ago, the communist regime outlawed all fraternizing with foreigners.
Our route begins in the mountains in the north, where the Hmong ethnic minority live. Vincent, Claire's brother-in-law, joins us for a month.
With us, he shares the doubtful pleasures of an incorrect map. At the bottom of the valley, the road ends.
Nous voilà un petit peu dans une, pas une vraie galère, mais un début de galère. Hein, donc Claire commence à être un petit peu tendue parce qu'on va peut-être remonter tout ce qu'on a descendu ce matin. Ouais, mais quand même, on a de la chouette compagnie. Regardez, on a plein de nouveaux copains.
We turn the screen around and the curious little faces crowd round.
Bah oui, c'est toi. Puis regardez, là, c'est vous.
Oh, que là, t'es pas né en Europe.
Moi, je fais comme ça avec les gamins. Tu filmes en regardant dans l'œil.
Non, que là,
Tu
t'es
retournes, tu
pas
regardes dans
né.
l'œil tombant. Donc toi, tu filmes dans l'œil. Tu regardes dans l'œil.
Trông khai. Chắc còn nữa luôn.
Every day, the Hmong walk many kilometers to Sapa market. You have to get up early here simply to survive. All the region's ethnic minorities come to the market. They survive by selling handicraft textiles. Later in the day, the women run after the tourists, trying to sell them trinkets. It doesn't look like an easy life.
Further south, everywhere is more densely populated. The Vietnamese never seem to stop working.
In this hyperactive society, our only exchanges are commercial ones. As in the other countries we've been through, €8 a day is enough to live on. But here, the role we play is that of customers and nothing else. And smiles are few and far between.
On the other hand, are we smiling at them? Not very much. The human experience in the first countries we visited was so rich that we're no longer content with this superficial rapport. In the countries we consider less welcoming, we are no doubt making less effort ourselves.
Luckily, our contact with the children soon stops us moping.
How are you?
How are you? How are you? Em fine, thank you.
All right.
Đâu rồi? Đi về đây. Đây, đưa tao cầm cho. Hello.
In 9 months of travelling, we've lightened our load. We got rid of our tent. So every night we play out the same scenario, looking for somewhere to stay. And there's rarely a hotel to be found.
That night, we strike lucky. We're offered a roof and glass after glass of friendship.
Bon bah voilà.
Chúc mừng, chúc mừng.
Dèo đây nhá, dèo này. Nhìn này có.
In Vietnam, we have our highs and lows. I even consider going back to Paris. But the great thing about traveling is that no day is like any other. A nice surprise soon makes you forget the bad ones. A smile, an exchanged glance. It's often the little details that make you want to carry on.
We leave the bustle of Saigon for Cambodia. After years of war, the country is slowly reconstructing itself. We wonder if it's even right to come here as travelers.
The first thing we notice is that the road has disappeared. All that's left is a track. Life here is back to basics, and villages are scarce.
Hello.
The question of where we'll sleep is soon settled. The Cambodians come out to meet us and drag us back to their homes.
The overflowing hospitality helps us forget the state of the road.
Our trip is back on the right track. At moments like this, we even wonder if we'll ever go home.
We imagined we'd find the signs of genocide everywhere here, but they're by no means easy to spot. The Cambodians show us a smiling face, and we don't know how we could begin to talk about their suffering.
This is the poorest country in the region, but we feel no uneasiness here, more a sensation of serenity.
That's probably why there are many foreign volunteers here, helping with the country's reconstruction. One evening at the market, we meet Hubert, a French surgeon. He takes us backstage at a humanitarian mission.
Hubert is waiting for a patient he's to operate on. He has to explain to her that she has breast cancer. Hubert explains that in this country, medicine is a luxury. Like this woman, most people only seek medical advice when the disease is in an advanced state.
The team also plays a preventive role. We go out with the gynecologists as they make home calls. In Cambodia, most women give birth at home with no medical support. To encourage them to be examined, Marie-Pierre and Magali go to their homes.
Je pense que la tête est là. Aïe. Là voilà. C'est des bébés. C'est bien. Là, c'est très bien. Elle peut accoucher à la maison, tout va bien. Kuntilan.
Back at the hospital, we find a worried-looking Hubert. The patient he was meant to operate on has disappeared.
Le fait de parler d'enlever le sein l'a fait fuir, je crois. Je crois que c'est plus son mari qu'elle, d'ailleurs. Ouais. Et puis on comprend pas tout dans ce pays. On est un petit peu tendance à travailler à la française, à prévenir les gens des choses, mais ici, je ne sais pas si c'est bien ou si c'est nécessaire.
For us too, Cambodia remains an enigma. But in this country with such a tragic past, we never feel we're in the way.
Next stop, Thailand, the last country on our trip. After 11 months on the road and over 8,500 kilometers covered, we feel like ending the journey in a holiday destination.
The countryside is sublime. It's not surprising that tourists flock here.
But have the Thais lost their curiosity about foreigners? We soon find out that they haven't.
A simple meal stop turns into a prolonged Thai lesson.
ขอบคุณมากครับ
จ้า เดี๋ยวเรากลับมาทางนี้มาแวะนะ
Ah, quand on revient, il faut passer par là. Mais ouais, mais on revient pas. Parce que nous... Et après
โอ้บินไปเลย
บินไปเลย
บินไปเลย
C'est l'avion.
C'est l'avion. Bing, balaï.
บินไปเลย
Attends. On disclose.
นะบินไปเลยไปถึงนู้นแล้วบินไปเลย
Bing, balaï.
บินไปเลย
Yes, we have a bimbaloi to catch. Our journey is coming to an end. Our adventure began with a dream, and the reality did not disappoint.
Throughout our journey, we grew closer. That should help us going home. Now we have to get used to a different rhythm. Waking up every day in the same place, finding a job, dealing with the stress of Paris, whatever. This experience has taught us that there are other ways to live.
We've learned to savour the present moment. Back in France, we'll try not to forget that.